Well, hello again. I am so honored again to be in your home. I'm so grateful that you continue to welcome us. BTV having the opportunity for our platform. You just have no idea how you all make me feel when you chase down BTV or Miss April and ask her, who's that Choose to Win lady? When is she coming back out with new shows? Well, I hope you're ready. I hope you're watching. And I hope you got your friends to tune in. This season, like no other, we have people that are just kingdom excellent, people who are just doing great things, change agents, young, old, all types of people. Well, I ain't gonna say old because you know we're a little bit of everything. So today I am honored to introduce to some of you that may not know him, but I can guarantee you ain't but a few of you all, the overseer designate Derrick L. Vines.
Yes, ma'am.
We so honored to have you. I love it. I told you we're gonna have a lot of energy here. When I watch you on Sundays, the energy is just explosive.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm a praiser.
Yes,
I don't think you
ma'am.
know that. I'll praise anywhere. I praise at the game. You ain't got to be at church.
That's
I'm
right.
a praise.
You praise anywhere.
I
That's
enjoy
right.
that.
That's right.
So welcome to Choose to Win. So glad to have you.
Yes,
And it's
ma'am.
just
I'm
what
glad
we
to be
say,
here.
choosing to win.
Yes, ma'am. So glad to be here.
So let us know a little bit about the overseer designate.
The overseer designate, again, my name is Derrick Vines. We pastor the Tabernacle of Praise Church International. I've been pastoring here for 6 years. I planted this ministry, started with 7 people.
Wow.
Now we have over 200 and growing members in membership or partnership. I'm married to the lovely Lady Jasmine Vines, and we have 2 children, Elijah and Miracle Vines. So we're growing, we're excited about the Lord, and excited about everything that God is doing in this season and in our lives.
Well, we know her on Facebook as Amber.
Yeah, Miss Amber.
That's our Facebook sensation. We enjoy watching them grow up and just watching them do things in the kingdom. And
Yes,
off
ma'am.
camera, I had an opportunity to see your son in action. He's just so proud of his dad. And
Yes, ma'am.
There's nothing. My son works in our ministry, and he works for my husband. And so it's an honor to see how what you've put in them come to fruition.
Yes,
so
ma'am.
you're able to see that. Some of
Yes,
the
ma'am.
things that you have planted in your kids that are you get to watch.
Yeah.
So honored to be. This is a beautiful, and as we're talking here, we're going to show pictures of this, and so they'll see what we're talking about. Such a beautiful building.
Yes, ma'am.
Like I went from the restroom to the entering the parking lot.
Yes, ma'am.
It's such done with spirit of excellence. Miss Autry, I know you know her. Tomalita Autry. Her color is purple. I bet she would have a field day, but she can't. She probably wanted to say she'll probably just hang out here for the purple. So tell us, who did this beautiful artmanship?
One of my ministers here in training, Christian Shakespeare.
Okay.
She's our church decorator, so she decorated everything. As far as the wording, Miss Latoya Hudsey out of LaGrange, Georgia, she did all the wording.
Okay.
But Christian Shakespeare, she did all the decorating. It was her idea, so she did a phenomenal job with the decorating of the foyer and as well as our welcome center.
Well, she sure did.
Yeah.
And I had no idea that it was going to be. I like the pictures on Facebook. Doesn't do it any justice.
Yeah.
We can see how it is, and you just never know. But walking in here, just a young person doing things.
Yes, ma'am.
We have visionaries understand the task of being a visionary.
Yes.
A lot of people get so caught up when people don't support them, but you can't get mad at people who don't have a vision.
Right. That's right.
People who have visions understand what it takes to make a vision that God has given you.
Exactly.
Now, one thing I think people need to understand, God will give you the vision, but He'll get you to run with it.
Right.
So tell us, why Top? Like, where were you? What happened? And how did you know God had it for you?
Well, honestly, I knew at the age of 6 that I was called to pastor.
Right.
I was on the bus riding home from school one day, and I remember laying my head up against the window and I fell asleep.
Okay.
And I had a vision of myself. And in the vision, it was like I had an out-of-body experience. And in that vision, I was on the arm, I was holding a female, and we was walking into this church. And I knew it was either my anniversary or I was pastoring or preaching. So I always knew that I would be a pastor. The way God did this, because God is so strategic in everything that He does. And sometimes... Sometimes God calls chaos to happen in your life to push you into destiny. And that was the very thing that happened, because I was comfortable where I was serving my leader at the time, serving, just being an asset to the ministry, no hidden agendas, no motives. And that's where I was content. And so I came to a point where the leader that I was serving called me Absalom. And if you know what Absalom is David's son who caused division in the body. That was not my intention, that was not my motive, but that was something that I had to go through. And during that time, I had conversations. I handled everything right because I do understand that one of the worst things in the body of Christ is the spirit of offense.
Right.
And we can find ourselves getting into something that God did not call us to because we're offended.
That's right.
So in my wisdom, I made sure I handled the situation correctly and went to the leader and explained myself, explained my motives, this is not the way it seems, or this is not, and then come to find out one of the people in the ministry had told the leader that I wanted to be the assistant pastor. I never said that. So that was kind of the situation that I had to deal with. Even through all of that, I was shunned, I was dropped, I was thrown away, treated like the black sheep. And so it was kind of like, I really didn't have a choice at that moment because, okay, so you either stay here and deal with spiritual abuse, because a lot of times pastors would try to blame the people when the problem is not the people. In actuality, the problem is you. So I've had a lot of people that come here to this ministry from various churches, and I know sometimes God allows us to go through things so we can know not what to do to people. So there was a lot of things that I faced in ministry so I can know not what to do to people. So I draw a lot of people that are rejected. I draw a lot of people that are outcasts in their churches, and they come here because this is a place of refuge and a place of safety, and they love it here. And so I know that's part of my ministry, is ministering to the rejected. So with all that being said, God pushed me into this. I did not want it. I even went to another church prior to me leaving that because I didn't want it. Honestly, being at that ministry was the worst 3 months of my life because I knew I was out of the will of God. I knew I had disobeyed God. And even there, they were treating us so bad and so horrible, and they literally just dropped us. And these were people that we served. These were people that we loved. These were people that we counted on. These were people that I would give my life to. And honestly, Dr. Bell, upon us in transition to this ministry, it was so many lies, so many accusations, so many things being said. It was like this whole town was in an uproar because we were planning a ministry. And to be honest with you, I was suicidal. People didn't know that I sat in my living room in the dark one morning and I was about to take my own life because of church people. I was about to kill myself because of church people. And my wife had to stop me and speak life back into me because I was so wounded and I was so depressed and I was so oppressed because all I wanted to do was serve. All I wanted to do was please God. And in all of this, I had to go through all of that, but it pushed me into this. So sometimes, that's why I say it, sometimes God will make your situation chaotic to push you into your destiny, because if it wasn't for the chaos, you would have never walked into your destiny.
So I'm going to receive that and hold on to that word.
Yes, ma'am.
Because I think that's why I was able to go through some situations that I had gone through here recently, is because I surrounded myself with people who understood what it meant to be lied on. Like, I'm going to say her name again on camera, Jennifer Boyd. I said it when I interviewed someone else. I didn't really have, I'm not going to lie and say I had this personal relationship. She was my best friend. We met for business transactions. Right. But I was able to hear her wisdom. And one thing she said to me was, you handled it with grace. So even though she's not my bestie, I've always followed her or listened to, watch her Facebook posts, because she don't have time for foolishness. Right. So people like you who are visionaries didn't sit back and say, ooh, I wonder what that Dr. Bell done did. Only because you know what it feels like to be pushed into your next place. And I know that's where I am. I saw it. God shows it to you. I should have left. But my purpose was not quite served, and sometimes He sacrifices us for the betterment of others. And so I totally get that. You are absolutely right. My husband would not have a business right now had I not been put on leave. He would have been at Walmart for 20 years, serving at Walmart faithfully for 20 years, never absent, never taking time off 20 minutes early. And not that he discounted the accolades they gave him, but it was a piece of paper saying super employee of the month. Every month he got one, because you know, Deacon Bell, he's a worker. They
Yeah.
don't make him like that. And
Yeah.
I'm not just saying that. But he would have just stayed there. He never told me his vision because he was supporting my visions. He never said, I want to start a business, because he was always supporting me through things. He just didn't have time to start a business because I was always all over the place.
Right.
But when I was able to take a step back and get out of God's way, God birthed something in my family. And not just in me, not just in him. So now you have my husband who has a business. My son works for him. Now he also doing this, works for me. And he will remind you that he works for us.
Yeah.
Because he wants to get paid. You understand? So, and that's how it should be. I tease him all the time. But I've never allowed my son to work for me for free because I'm sewing into where I'm going.
Right.
And so nothing is wrong with volunteering. So we have volunteers in the ministry, and you know how that works.
Right.
But there are just some people you have to pay.
Right.
So you got that. You got here, your wife. I understand what it means. And so people are going to think, oh, the pastor, and I'll clear it up. Dr. Bell wasn't depressed, but I did feel that spirit.
Yeah.
So what I did, Pastor Vines, is what people see me do every day. I went running every day.
Yeah.
So how did you combat that? I know your wife spoke life into you. I know she was very instrumental in your recovery of coming back and birthing this big building and shouting up there every Sunday.
Yeah.
I know she had her role, but ultimately it was your decision to win. So how did that look?
So what I did, one night I went to a revival. The way I push myself is my mother, she's always taught us to endure. She's always taught us to endure. Galatians 6:9 says, be not weary in well doing, for in due season you shall reap if you faint not. So my push was to learn how to endure. So I've always had, like I said, had a heart to please God. I made sure I stayed focused on the word of the Lord, and I made sure I kept my prayer life. So one night I went to a revival, and my bishop, who is my spiritual father, and my pastor, Bishop Mark House in Forest Park, Georgia, and he was doing this revival, and he called me out and he began to minister to me prophetically. And that night he spoke life to me, and he said, you are not cursed. And when he spoke those words to me, it was like a light bulb instantly came on. And I knew then I was not cursed, because this is all I was hearing. I was cursed. I wasn't going to make it. I wasn't going to survive. This is what church people now, this is not the world. This is what church people were saying. These are what church people were doing. Even people that I confided in, even pastors, I sat in their office and talked to you about what I'm doing. And you told me, you gave me the go ahead. But once it came out, you were bad-mouthing me. So this is what I was going through all of this, listen to the lies, listen to the rumors, listen to everything that was going on. And he told me, he spoke life to me, and he said, you are not cursed. And in that moment, I knew then that was who God had called me to be under. So I submitted to his leadership, and I called him a day or so later, and I reached out to him and just let him know I was wondering if he could be my spiritual covering. He said, when he answered the phone, he said, I already know what you want. I already know what you want, because the Holy Spirit has told me what you want. And to be honest with you, people even told him not to connect with me. People told him not to deal with us. We were the vines, don't deal with them. But even in spite of all that, I thank him for giving me an opportunity. So I cannot say, or giving me a chance, I cannot say I would be who I am today if it were not for him. Because God, like you said, places people in your life to push you into your season. And he saw something in me that I didn't see in myself, because I was listening to what people in the town or what people in the community said. And it wasn't everybody, but it was a lot of people.
And it was enough.
It was enough to, and you can't really judge my response when you don't know what I went through, because I had to go through a lot of stuff. I had to deal with a lot of drama, a lot of stuff that people took me through, church people. And this was a place that I love, but it caused me so much pain.
I just hear your passion when you say, but let me tell you two things that God is going to do with this testimony today. He's going to let your people know how human you are. And that's what we need in this season. You get up, people, I tell people, I get up and I work with kids every single day. And there was a season in our lives that my son was going through the worst part of his time.
Right.
And I didn't feel like I could help him. But God forced me up every day to go work with kids. when I couldn't help my own.
Yep.
And so what they saw, the people that I confided in, is that I was vulnerable, that I wasn't perfect. Now, that you weren't going to be able to look on Facebook and hear me cuss somebody out.
Right.
And I think that's where they get confused. They think just because we ain't got a post about somebody, we don't feel what they did.
Yeah.
I don't have to take care of you
Right.
because the Spirit of God in the Word tells me,
Yeah.
if you just be still and
If you
know
be
that
still.
I am God.
Yeah.
He said, you just hush.
Yep.
And T.D. Jason, I reference him a lot because when I was going through my worst season, I've been through a lot of seasons.
Yeah.
But he said, if you want to win the battle, stay out of the ring.
Yep.
And I'll never forget that. So when things was coming about me like yourself and you want to retaliate, I kept going back to, if you want to win this battle, stay out of the ring. And so I do get it. And I think that's what God has connected me with in this season of this show. That's why the show used to be titled Empowering Moments, but God changed it just to choose win, because first of all, that's what people thought the name was anyway. But he said, you're going to connect with people who are choosing to win as a decision. And that's what you did. It's real easy to talk about you the way you talked about me. It's real easy for me to call your name the way you call mine. But what good is that when God says, if you step in, I'm going to step out of the way. And what we get from that, pastor, overseer, designate, is we get true victory in every part of our life.
Every part.
I tell people, I don't want to just look like, see, people who, I don't want to look just like I can pay my bill. I want to be able to pay my bill for real.
Right.
So I don't care what you out there doing.
Right.
I know what God is doing.
Right.
So I don't have the stress.
Right.
I don't want to look like I'm happy in my marriage.
Yeah.
I know I'm happy in my marriage. So because of how I serve God. And even when you maybe have a disagreement with family members, or even when family members are not speaking to you, because the Bible is very clear in this season now, in the Revelation time, that everybody turned against you when you totally sold out. So you have the building, you have wonderful kids, your wife is very supportive, you've gone through the suicide, you've met the man of God that has chosen to be your spiritual father. And then you're in the building, y'all doing great things, and then God says, nope, time to move, time to grow. That faith. So what happened with that? What happened that day? I know it's a message behind it.
This has been a journey. And when I say this has taught me how to trust God, this has taught me how to trust God in every aspect of my life. So and we was in the first building, and the Lord told me there was a church beside us, and the Lord told me, you're going down there. This is how God worked this thing out. And I said, God, when we got ready to start, I said, God, we don't have a place to go. We don't have the money. We didn't have anything. All we had was a word. And I'm telling you that there are moments in your life where you won't have anything but a word. But the word of God is enough, because his word will never return unto him void. When I tell you, God has given us supernatural favor every step of the way. And this is why you don't have to worry about your naysayers, because your fruit will do all the talking for you. You don't have to defend yourself. You don't have to defend your name. Let your fruit do all the talking. So I'm telling you, the first building we were in, the landlord, again, we didn't have any money. We didn't have anything. We just had a word. The landlord gave us 6 months free to move in, to get started. So we had 6 months free. We moved in that building. Someone donated 25 brand new chairs. We got some more chairs, free sound system, free computers. Didn't have to pay anything. Our first offering was $80. And when it was time to start paying rent, a lady in Auburn who had never been to our church before, she would send us $400. No, she would send us $500 every month. Get this, the rent was $400. So God did exceedingly abundantly above more than we could ever ask. I think she sent that a whole year. Every month she would send us the rent. We didn't ask her for it. She said God told her to do it. She would send us our rent payment every single month the first year. When we got ready to move into our second building, I told the Lord we were ready to move, because the Lord said, whenever you move, I'm going to send an increase. When we moved there, the landlord again gave us 6 months free. 6 months free. We moved in free of charge, got in, got rolling, got growing. We got the busting out walls because we were growing so fast. And then my bishop came down and he did a service, and he told me the Lord said it was time to find a new building. And I was kind of content where I was, but as the word came from the prophet, I knew that I had to obey the Lord. So we got up and we started looking around, and I actually went to this building on 29 in Valley.
Right.
And there was a sign on the door, and I looked at the sign and I called the number, asked him about the building. And the man asked me, he said, well, the building you're at, he said, that's not the building we own. He said, I'm not even sure how my phone number got on that building. And he said, go look, our building is at 3205 22nd Avenue in Valley. He said, go look at that building. So I went and looked at the building, and the Lord immediately said, this is the place. So we went, we looked, I said, this is the one we want. He said, what do you want to do with it? I said, I want to make it into a church. He said, you sure you got a lot of office spaces? I said, trust me, I can turn a church into anything. I can do anything with a church. So we got in there, we gutted it out, we turned it into a church. 6 months free.
Boy,
6 months free of...
I like free.
Yeah, 6 months free of rent. Then we paid rent for 4 months in this building. He called me, I prophesied to the people. I said, the Lord, that December of 2019, I said, the Lord said that this is the season where people are about to start handing us stuff. They're going to start giving us stuff. January, 2 weeks later, the landlord calls and said, Pastor Vines, how would you feel if I gave you that building? He gave us the building, gave us the property, gave us the land, everything that belonged to it. I had the deeds, everything. He gave it to us completely free. God did it. God gave us everything. So I'm telling you, you do not have to defend your name. God will allow your fruit to do all the talking for you.
So we're going to cut for a commercial real quick, because then we're moving. This is the last move. We're about to come here. So stay tuned. I'm so excited. Free 95. Stay tuned. Go get somebody. Tell them Vines is on. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Welcome back. So glad. So now we're at that place. And go out there and get that book, 31 Days of Handling Adversity, The David Mentality. So I'm so excited about that project. But I don't want to spend this time about me, because we got to talk about this new building and what you have on this table.
Yes, ma'am.
So the guy gave you the building free.
Free.
Deeds. Everything. And I'm so glad I met somebody who talks as fast as I do. I don't know how to rewind this, but it's so awesome. He gave you the building. He told you, let me give it to you, because you spoke it. And that's something I'm trying in this season of my life, because I'm a person, sometimes your past will make you just be silent in your blessings. You know that. Yeah. But I'm declaring it. Copeland, who loves you, we got to say her name. She loves you.
I love her.
Elnora Copeland is one of my good friends. She decrees things all the time, and that's what it looks like you've decided to do. Yeah. You get the building, second week after you told the people, and so let's talk about, how did we end up here with a building that's already ours? Why would God move me?
Yes, God, so I knew it was time to move, because we had completely outgrown. We were stuffed in there every Sunday. People be running, falling over each other. Like I said, so I got in the pulpit one Sunday. I said, okay, y'all, we're going to release into the atmosphere, God, we need a new building. I got in town. Once I released that into the atmosphere, I was riding down this road, and the Lord said, there's your building.
Wow.
There's your building right there. So as I began to contact the city, contact the county, they was like, well, normally they don't put the phone number of who owns the building, but for some reason the phone number is here.
There you go.
So God instantly connected us with the guy, and he was phenomenal to work with. He let us in the building, no problem. He said, I don't see how you're gonna do it, and he came and looked at the building the other day. He said, oh my God, this is wonderful. This is beautiful. And so I know this was all God. This was all God.
Well, I'm telling you, I love your faith, man of God.
Yeah.
But and I say this at every show, that the people God are putting in my path in this season, not that the people that were in the first 3 seasons were not phenomenal, but it's for me. Mm-hmm. And everybody that I'm speaking with, they're talking about faith. So Listen, people, y'all got to come see this building. The building, Tom lead the altar. You need to come see the building. It's just the purpose. Just call Pastor Vines and say, "Can I come see the building?"
Yeah.
But so you have 3 books here: Victory Over Ungodly Soul Ties. Woo. The Anointed, but I Am Anointed but Under Attack. Let me just, you got them up here. Let me make sure I let people see them. Let me get my water out the way. Victory Over Ungodly Soul Ties. The Bible Study Journal. Now let's talk about this one.
That's actually just, it's just what it is. It's just a journal.
Right.
So when you come in Bible study, you don't have to purchase a book. You can just get our journal.
And you know
it's
we
free.
need that.
Yeah, it's free paid space. You just take notes from Bible study. So it's actually just what it is. It's just our Bible study journal.
Wow.
This book, this was my first book, and this is when I went through the season of depression and suicide. And that's why I birthed that title, I'm Anointed, but I'm Under Attack. So that was my first book. And this book made Amazon's bestseller.
Oh, wow.
That was Amazon's bestseller. Victory Over Ungodly Soul Ties, because I know what it is to be connected to people that are only instrumental in one season, but can be detrimental in your new season.
So stop right there and say that one more time, because I think church people don't realize that they are instrumental in one season, but can be detrimental
in your new season.
And if you don't cut them jokers off?
Yeah, you got to cut some people off. And so that book right there, and it's just not talking about sexual, it's talking about friendships, it's talking about relationships, it's talking even sexual, ungodly soul ties. It talks about how to get rid of all those soul ties in that book. I even have a third book, which is not here, but it's called Focused.
Okay.
It's called Focused. You can find all of those books on Amazon. You can find all of those books on Amazon.
Lasting words, what time do we have service?
We have service every Sunday morning at 11 o'clock a.m. It's our praise celebration.
Yes, it is.
And I promise you, there is no service like the service at the Tabernacle of Praise Church International. I promise you, you're going to come in one way and you're going to leave out feeling better. You're going to leave out feeling whole, healed, delivered, and set free, because you can get everything you need in this service.
We have daycare too, right?
Yes,
daycare?
We have we're actually opening our Top Kids Academy in phases.
Okay.
We're having to do it in phases. So once we complete everything concerning the daycare, we're going to open that up for the community. But right now, we are really pushing our after-school program.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
How can they get in touch? You just go on Facebook?
They can call my wife at 706-518-7349, and she manages that campus, which is located in our old building. The after school program, they feed them real good. They have dressing, collard greens, all that stuff in the after school program. So it's really, really good. We take care of your kids. You're going to love it. You're going to love it.
Pastor, overseer designate. My mom, before she passed away, she said I had 30 names, and I think she would feel the same way about you. It has been a true honor.
Yes, ma'am.
To let people know how really what it takes to win.
Yes, ma'am.
I think they think we wake up and say, I think I win today.
No.
You got to push through the pain.
You got to push. You got to endure.
I'm anointed, but I'm under attack.
Yeah.
That's all right. My anointing don't leave me because you don't like me.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Just because you don't like me. Thank you so very much. I cannot wait to come and dance, because you know we're going to dance.
We got to dance. Yeah, we're going to dance.
I am a praiser.
Yes,
honey.
ma'am.
You better I tell my pastor tell you, Dr. They're going to praise. The Ph.D. ain't going to stop me from praising. So thank you again.
Yes, ma'am.
So, it's such an honor. I can't believe it's over. Thank you guys for watching. Be on the lookout on BTV. Check your local listings. Just come see the man. Buy the books. Go to Amazon. We're so honored to have you. But again, Thursday, 5 o'clock, be right here. And thanks again for watching. You know my motto, if you wake up every day and you have one decision to make, you make that decision. And you choose to win. Take care.